Hey folks, Bob Reese of the Guides Forecast, giving you a Wind River report from today, May 9th. Happy birthday, Mom. Rest in peace. First birthday without my mom. It's a day to remember. Unfortunately, we didn't catch any fish. I fished with Eric Pedersen of Stevens Marine, Chris Sessions, a professional fishing guide, and one of Eric's distant relatives there, cousin Doug. So as you can see in the background, I think you can see, zoom in on that? No, I guess not. A lot of boats out here at Wind River. We're in peak season. There was about 26 or 2,800 fish go over Bonneville Dam yesterday. So it definitely seems like we're on the backside of the main migration past Bonneville. I saw a 6,000 fish day on the 30th of April. But you know, these rivers and fisheries should be pretty plugged up with spring Chinook, high quality spring Chinook that is. This stock of fish is derived from Upper Columbia Basin, Idaho stock, so really high quality spring Chinook. But just had one bite on a Cooney and spinner combo, fishing mostly between 17 and 24 on the line counters in front of Wind River here. The parking is crazy. There's cars everywhere. Pretty hard to park. You need a $10 parking pass to park up here. I know that Drano Lake's just up the road here. They've had pretty good fishing there. I know Chris Rotopoulos has been fishing there with his friend Brian Irwin for the last couple of days. They're getting 8 to 12 chances a day, landing about half a dozen of them. So we are in peak season, but people are pulling out now. It's a little afternoon time. Not a spectacular bite. Maybe saw 8 or 10 fish for a whole pile of boats. Of course, there's plenty we didn't see, I'm sure, but nonetheless, it was far from an epic bite. I think the run overall this year is a little bit down from last year. But nonetheless, it's one of the better opportunities for the highest of high quality spring Chinook in the region, Southwest Washington. It's a beautiful place to fish in the gorge here versus, say, Portland Harbor. That's peak season fishing. Pretty simple fishery. This is the way these fisheries have gone. The pro trolls and spinners. These spinners are tipped with Coonies, as I mentioned. The one that got bit had a heavy dose of garlic scent to it. Eric was also running some tuna-soaked Coonies too, and he got a couple bites on those last Sunday, as you'll see on the forthcoming video here. We had a conversation about it. But anyway, my day's done. I'm gonna go soak in a hot tub, whether that be at Carson or at my house. But overall, pleasant day. Not a lot of wind at the Wind River, but it is starting to pick up here. So good luck if you get fishing in this fishery. Drano Lake, of course, is really crowded. Wind River, there's a lot of boats here, but there's also a lot of room. So it's actually the first time I fished Wind River. I fished Drano a couple times, and it's quite an impressive zoo, but really does produce some good catches. Anyway, good luck. Hope you have good fishing in Southwest Washington. Hey folks, Bob Reese here with the Guides Forecast. I'm on board with Eric Pedersen from Stevens Marine, Chris Sessions, legendary fishing guide, and Uncle Doug up here in the corner pocket. Doug had a hold of one a little bit earlier that we lost, but Eric's the captain of this vessel. He's got a nice Columbia boat with a windshield. Got a Garmin motor up in the bow, so it's been very peaceful. The wind just started picking up. There's hardly anybody fishing here, as you can see. But this is the Wind River fishery. And Eric, tell me, how long have you been fishing in the Wind River fishery here?
Well, I've come up here for a couple of years now. Chris introduced me to it. And I try not to tell anyone about it because obviously it's a secret up here.
Well, you got at least one other trip under your belt here this season. You had a couple of fish about a week ago, is that right?
Last Sunday we got a couple, and we had a good opportunity a little while ago, but didn't quite stick the way we wanted.
Well, Eric's got a lot of years with Stevens Marine, so he's got the live scope over here running off the back. He knows exactly what depth we're all fishing off of. He's got the brand new motors that are still shiny. Everything here. How many years have you been with Stevens Marine?
I've been there since '92, so I've got a couple under my belt.
Yeah. Well, I've got 4 or 5 boats from Stevens Marine. I think I've been working with Eric for probably close to 20 years, I think.
I think longer.
Yeah. So, as you might read the reviews that I've left on Stevens Marine and Alumaweld boats, I'm very happy with what comes out of your guys' program. You got a strong crew there. You got 2 locations, one in Milwaukee, one in Tigard. I usually go out to Tigard so I can get all the fishing secrets from Eric here. And but you got not only what's your title now? You're like
I'm the GM,
general manager of this. Not is it just Tiger Store or are you both the whole program?
Just the Tiger
Just
Store.
the Tiger Store. Okay. So, but he's been extremely reliable when I'm broke down on the water, which is a pretty rare scenario. Eric usually knows what the heck's going on, so I got him on speed dial, and he's been my go-to guy for well over 2 decades. So. Appreciate everything you've done for me, and Stevens Marine has been a fantastic company to work for, and I've been very pleased with the Alumaweld boats. So right now I'm running, I started out and I bought a used boat from Andy Betnar, then I got the Super V, and then I got the Columbia, and then I got the Pacific. Yeah, so we talked a little bit earlier about kind of the progression of these fisheries, and it's how they've kind of changed over time. I mean, when we started cutting our teeth on these salmon and steelhead fisheries, we were fishing tributaries like the Sandy and the Clackamas and catching fish out of smaller tributaries like that. But now some of those fisheries are much more challenging than they used to be. You guys used to sell drift boats. One of my first drift boats was from Stevens Marine. I got it in '91. It was $2,000 on sale. I could buy a 16-foot aluminum drift boat for that amount of money. And now you guys don't even sell drift boats. You're selling sleds, of course, and some fiberglass smoker crafts and
pontoons.
Yeah,
we got something for everyone there.
Yeah. So, but curious to me, as you know, fishing is obviously my focus, and you've been fishing for decades yourself. What's changed so much in the boating world? You know, we talked about how we're gravitating away from these freshwater fisheries and going to bigger water. So, you know, it used to be that all the guides would get these flat bottom boats, you know, because we were running the Clackamas and Sandy Rivers or Upper Tillamook Bay, and now everybody's getting the deeper hold, the deeper V boats that navigate bigger water, the Pacific Ocean. And what have you seen over the decades?
Well, that's just, you know, the Columbia has been a real mainstay. Of course, the bays, you know, scratching at the ocean. So that's where the great success is. So that the smaller tributaries haven't been quite as producing as well, and so that's where everyone's kind of gravitated towards. And along with that, the industry with boats that can handle that, and motors and horsepower, and adding more V, so everything works a lot more effectively.
Yeah, and I think one of the other bigger innovations, I don't know so much an innovation, but a major change in the motors. You know, when we first started guiding and fishing, we had the 2-stroke motors with the oil that were mixed, and I don't know how that all happened. Maybe some through regulation and some through demand. But you guys there's no such thing as a 2-stroke motor anymore, right?
No, you know, and that was an EPA regulation that changed all that. That happened in '96, and there was a progression that needed to happen so everything would be cleaner. And well, that just made everything a lot better. The motors are quieter, more fuel efficient, far more horsepower. You got fuel injection on almost everything now. It's pretty amazing new equipment.
And you don't see a huge blue cloud of smoke when you turn your engine over, and they're so quiet, so much more quiet than they used to be. So a lot of innovations, and Mercury has always been my go-to motor here, and they've got great warranties. And now Stevens Marine is probably the the largest mercury dealer west of the Mississippi. Is that how that goes?
We're the largest west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And we've got of course, we're the only state without a sales tax, so that helps us quite a bit as well.
Oh, good point. Yeah. Well, good. Well, great. I just can't recommend Stevens Marine and Eric Pedersen. Of course, you guys got a great staff both at the Milwaukee and the Tigard store. But I imagine you're one of the longer standing salespeopeople and personnel there at the Tigard store.
Yeah, there's a couple of us that have
Yeah.
been there for a long time. We got, it's nice going to work on something that you enjoy that aligns with your passions, and it's been good.
So, and you guys, a little bit of history, if you would, about Alumaweld boats themselves. I mean, Stevens Marine, have they always owned Alumaweld boats, or there was? How did that story go?
So, of course, Alumaweld was originally started by Willie. He was a fabricator by trade, and he built some boats for his own personal fishing, and it took off. And so he was doing that for a while, and got another partner for some seed money involved. They didn't get along too well, and so they went away. But Paige Stevens, who owned Stevens Marine at the time, was buying the bulk of the production. And when I say bulk, we're talking about them building 25 or 30 boats a year. It wasn't a whole lot. And so when Willie and Dave Bolton didn't want to be in business anymore, they sold the business to Paige, and Paige developed a lot of these newer hulls and this technology, and we got to be part of that. And of course, Stevens Marine's been the anchor in the Portland area for the distribution of it.
Yeah, great. Well, great history with the company. Again, great service, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us at the Guides Forecast, Eric. What's the best way to folks to get a hold of you if they want to talk about fixing their boat or getting a new one?
Well, heck, I'm always at the store there in Tigard at the 503-620-7023 number. And of course, we've got a great crew at both sides there. They're happy to help anyone out.
Very good. Thanks very much, and catch me a fish.